Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. I declare this...
Just a minute.
Okay.
Yep,
Okay, sorry. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Chamber, to the August Ordinary Council meeting. I declare this meeting open at 6:02. I would just like to advise that these meetings, all participation in the meeting, except for confidential business, will be audio recorded and live streamed on the town's website. The live stream will be archived and made available on the town's website after the meeting. Kaya Marman, Kaya Yoga, Kaya Bridiye, Ya Nanuk, Nalak Kadij Winj Yalak Nini, Nalak Kadij Nidja Budja Bal, Wajak Nunga, Buja Lalak Nini, Kura, Nijie Burawan. The town of Bassendean acknowledges the Wajak people of the Noongar Nation as the traditional custodians of this land. We pay our respects to the elders, past and present, and acknowledge their continuing culture and the contribution they make to the region. Councillors, I would ask if all have signed the Declaration of Civic Duty and Responsibility. Yes? Okay. For the members of the public, I'll read out what the councillors sign at the beginning of each ordinary council meeting. I make this declaration in good faith and declare that I will duly, faithfully, honestly and with integrity fulfil the duties of my office for all the people in the town of Bassendean according to the best of my judgment and ability. I do not have any announcements tonight by the presiding person without discussion. We'll move on to item 3, attendances, apologies and applications for leave of absence. Now, we have an apology from Councillor Ames and we also have an apology from Councillor...
Madam Mayor, Councillor Ames is online for the first hour.
Excellent. Councillor Ames, thank you very much. Councillor Ames, if you do have to leave the meeting, if you could give me a very quick notification for the minutes clerk, and that would be excellent. And Councillor Wilding is an apology? Right, okay. There are no other apologies that I am aware of. We'll now move to declarations of interest. Councillors, are there any declarations of interest on any item on the agenda? No? Okay. I do not believe, Mr CEO, that we have any deputations tonight.
No, none, Madam Mayor.
Okay, thank you. We now move to statements by members of the public. Now, there are several statements that have been sent in, but the first person whom I would ask to provide her statement is Katarina Wolf, if you're in the chamber. Thank you, Ms Wolf. If you would state your address, that would be excellent.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. It's Katarina Wolf of number 4 Nurstead Avenue, Bassendean. And I'm feeling very much as the odd one out, but I'm very excited to see so many people in the council chamber. Dear Madam Mayor, dear councillors, thank you for the opportunity to speak, and I will try to keep it brief. You know kind of where I'm coming from. But I would first of all like to acknowledge the work that's been done towards recognising the heritage along the former Nurstead estate. And I would like to thank you all for the progress that's been made in regards to that recognition. So my comments do relate to item 12.2 of today's agenda, which recommends advertising the new place records for inclusion in the local heritage survey. I did outline a lot of those points in an email, but I thought I'd do kind of summarise them here as well. Look, the agenda frames these buildings or these recommendations being built on earlier work by Hocking Heritage, and I really want to put it on the record that those recommendations actually go back 2 years, and initially it was the actual property owners of those respective 4 properties that individually put their properties forward for consideration of inclusion in the heritage survey, because they felt that for some reason they were overlooked early on. We're talking about early 1900s properties that are well intact. And so the individual owners believed that they should be recognised. So hence, I'm hoping that we could actually look at recognising that formally in the meeting minutes, that this recommendation actually goes much further back, and also that this recommendation has actually been driven by the community and the respective owners. My concerns are in regards to the process, given that according to the Heritage Act, the council, and as the council has, or the town has confirmed, the emphasis is very much on recognising, identifying and protecting local heritage. And therefore, I really would like to encourage councillors to move forward sooner rather than later in terms of investigating opportunities to recognise the former Nurstead heritage area as in an overlay or as a designated heritage area, given the impending or given the existing rezoning, the impending building that's going to happen in that particular area. So I'm really urging everyone to possibly consider tonight not to go the long route and extend those 2 years of waiting unnecessarily further. I believe that the council can actually move forward, list those properties as they have listed other properties in the Heritage Survey previously, and really push forward with that recommendation to consider the area for inclusion and recognition.
So thank you, Ms Wolfe. This is a statement, so we're limited to 2 minutes, limited
That's
in time. But thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Articulate as always, and I do appreciate your attendance.
Thank you, and thank you for your time.
Please reach out to the councillors if you require. Okay?
I will do.
Thank you. For those who are new to the Chamber to Council meetings, statements are limited to a maximum of 2 minutes and must be related to a topic that is on the agenda. Now, there was a statement sent in by Ms McLennan regarding item 12.4. Councillors, you have been provided with a copy of that statement. Ms McLennan is not in the chamber. However, for those who are not attending the chamber who have sent in statements by email, they will be written in full in the minutes of the meetings and published. We also have a statement that was provided by Mr Brian Boguala, who is also not going to be attending the meeting. This is in regards to the Life VAC item. And as councillors will be aware, this gentleman provided a very heart-wrenching deputation some months ago, and our councillors and staff very much appreciate this gentleman's advocacy and his attempts to expand the manner in which people who might be choking can be saved. So, and again, this gentleman's statement will be provided in full in the minutes of the meeting. We now move to statements that have been sent in relation to confidential item 16.1. There are several people in the chamber who have indicated they're in the chamber and who have sent in statements. I would suggest that statement time is only 15 minutes. So if you can keep your statements concise, bearing in mind that councillors have a copy of all of these statements in front of them. So the first person is Ramath Iswar. Sir, if you'd come to the microphone and state your name and address. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ramnath Ishwar. I'm a resident of 7 Melning Street, Caversham. I'm here in relation to the Casamia Montessori discussion point. Again, so Casamia Montessori, I believe the town had provided a timeline of 2027 until which the Casamia Montessori school can basically function, and beyond which I believe the town had rescinded the extension of the school to operate. I'm here to just talk as a parent of my child. So my child has been going to the Casamia Montessori school for the last 4 years, and as a parent and as a part of the community, I believe that the school has really contributed to the development of my child, and I'm a part of the community, and I know multiple parents here in the community as well who would state the same thing as I do, that the school has really contributed to the development of the child. And I believe there should be an opportunity provided by the town for the extension of the school beyond 2027, to operate, function beyond 2027, I would say. Yeah, thanks.
Thank you. The next person I've got on the list is Jaron de Klerk. No? Yes? Okay.
Sorry, down the hallway.
Okay. Again, so if you could state your name and address for the minutes, and also, as you know, the recording is, it's only for 2 minutes, the statement time.
Thank you. My name is Jaron de Klerk of 115A Anzac Terrace. Firstly, may I ask if we could extend the question time
We will do that
and statement time?
if a councillor moves that at the end of the 15 minutes. So if you could continue with your statement.
Yeah, no problem. I yield my statement to the next member. Thank you.
Thank you. And the next person is Ebony Mackenzie.
Good evening, councillors, Madam Mayor, Mr CEO and directors. My name is Ebony Mackenzie and I live on 57 First Avenue in Bassendean. And as a Bassendean resident and ratepayer, I'm speaking in support of a 4-year lease extension for Casimir Montessori. Casimir has given my family more than an excellent education. It has connected us deeply to this town. My children now see Bassendean as their town, and they remind me to pick up other people's rubbish on Old Perth Road because this is our town, Mum. And that sense of responsibility and belonging is exactly what your vision for Bassendean as a safe, healthy and inclusive community describes. Casimir actively lives out the town's values. The students and staff use the library, the train network, community halls and the BIC for sport and events. My own children ride to school in line with the town's Your Move initiative, demonstrating sustainable practices. The school's culture reflects your commitment to climate action, inclusivity and strong social infrastructure, and it passes these values on to the next generation. We are only asking for a modest 4-year extension, and after that the school will move on. Granting this extension ensures continuity for current families and preserves the community benefits that Casimir has contributed and will continue to contribute during that time. It also shows that Council stands by its vision, supporting education, sustainability and community connection right here in Bassendean. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, the next person that we have on the list here is Samantha Layton.
Thank you. Samantha Layton, the principal of Casimir Montessori School, 5 Sedge Link, Atwell. Casimir Montessori wishes to express our gratitude to the town of Bassendean for expediting the consideration of our request before it enters caretaker and for the support shown to our school over the past 25 years. I'd like to also thank our school community for their unwavering commitment to Montessori education, to our school and to our place within this town. We could spend time revisiting the long history of lease extensions, land purchase discussions and missed opportunities, but what is important now is that the school is finally in a position to make relocation a viable project. This has only been possible through the dedication of our boards, families and staff, and the stability that the town has afforded us over time. However, this project will only succeed if the town grants us a 4-year lease extension. We need this time to stage the relocation process responsibly and to continue growing our enrolments. Without it, the board risks undertaking a project that cannot be completed. Once again, we ask for the town's support, as we have gratefully received before, so that Casimir Montessori can fulfil its vision of a permanent home and continuing contribution to the Montessori community for generations to come. Thank you.
Thank you. The next person I have on my list is Metia Bangura. Sorry, I'm terrible with pronunciations. If you would like to state your name and address, that would be excellent.
Hello, councillors and members of Bassendean community. My name is Aminata and I live at 170A Hubert Street, East Victoria Park, and I'm a Year 6 student at Casimir Montessori Community School. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak on behalf of our students. We're excited about the move to our new school site, but there's a problem. The new build won't be ready before our current lease ends. If we can't stay longer at our location here in Bassendean, Casimir will have to close. I'm here to share why it's so important for our school community to be given more time so that we can stay together and keep our school community strong. We're the only Montessori school in the area, which gives us a chance to learn in a way that's special and unique. Our school is preparing us for life after school. We get to think creatively, work in many different hands-on ways, and learn at our own pace. We explore our passions and learn to manage our own time. It's a place where we learn through cause and effect, build independence, and learn how to solve problems by ourselves and as part of a team. Some of us have been at Casimir our whole school life and don't know any other way of learning. Others have come from different schools, but none of us want to be forced in a different style of learning because we value the Montessori approach and what it offers to preparing us for the future. Casimir is not just a school, it's a community. We're like a family and we look out for one another. We all know each other at Casimir, the students, the teachers, and the parents. We're not just friends with our classmates, but have friends across all ages. We regularly work together and play together. We develop strong connections with our teachers as we get to spend 3 years with them before moving classes. If we have to move to a new school, we'll miss out on building the connections that are only possible in small Montessori environments like the one we have at Casimir. Also, if students have to move to a new school to finish their primary school education, because Casimir then have to finish moving a short time for high school, it will be really overwhelming. We need continuity and
Sweetie, I'm going to ask you to finish up.
and predictability to feel secure learning. Thank you.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, I must emphasise that photos are not to be taken in the chamber. That is not permitted in an ordinary council meeting at all, okay? And if any photos have been taken, they are not to be published, okay? Thank you. Mr. Jaron de Klerk, would you like to come back to the microphone if you're in the hallway? Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Your name and address, sir. You did start off before, but we...
Yeah.
Yes.
My name is Jaron de Klerk from 115A, Anzac Terrace, Bassendean.
Thank you. Would you like to produce your statement?
Yeah, no one else? No? Okay.
Well, there are others, but they don't appear to be... They've said they're not attending.
Okay, yep, no worries. Okay. Good evening, councillors and mayor. My name is Jaron, and I'm an independent member of the Casimir board. However, I make this statement in my capacity as a ratepayer and a resident of Bassendean. These are my personal views and do not necessarily reflect the board or school community. Independent schooling is a vital service to the community, and Casimir has been a core part of the Bassendean community since 1999. When we purchased our house, the school was a key aspect of our decision to do so. After learning about the impending lease expiry and council decision that is required, I'm concerned that the council has acted in opposition to the key needs and wishes of the community. Their historical process associated with the lease at the site has been a constant source of anxiety for the school community. I believe the Bassendean Council should align its values with the community needs and wishes. I formally encourage the council to approve the extension of 4 years in light of the above and commit to making a definitive decision on the site. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Councillors, we have come to the end of the 15 minutes. Now, I do note that there are several statements that have been sent in where people have indicated that they are not attending the meeting. However, there are two that did not provide whether they were coming to the meeting or not. I'll just read out their names to see if they're actually in the chamber. Deepika Vandenethan? Yes. Okay, so first of all, I'll ask councillors, does anyone wish to move to extend the... Councillor Johns, seconded Councillor Carter. All those in favour? That is carried. Ma'am, if you'd like to come to the microphone, state your name and address, and 2 minutes for the statement. Thank you very much.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Deepika Vaidyanathan, and my address is 7 Melnick Street, Caversham. I used to live in Bassendean, so let me start off by saying that as a concerned parent and a community member, I would respectfully request your support for an extension of lease for our school. Casamia has been long at the heart of our community, offering not just quality education, but also a safe and inclusive environment that brings families together. It is far more than an educational institution, and personally for my son, it's home. It is a community hub where children grow in confidence, friendships are nurtured, and families find connection and support. The school is run by a volunteer board and an active parents and friends group and a dedicated set of Montessori trained teachers, all of whom work tirelessly to maintain a nurturing learning environment. We've been in Caversham just for the last 7-8 months. Prior to that, we were in Bassendean and proud members of this community for several years, with our son thriving at Casamia. Our family deeply values the education Casamia provides and strongly believes in the Montessori philosophy. I urge you to support this extension request, which would allow for a smooth and responsible transition from Bassendean to Vivesh, and most importantly, protect the stability and well-being of our children. Without this extension, the future of the school and the education of its students does remain at risk. Thank you for your consideration, and thank you for listening to me. Thank you.
Thank you. The other person whom I'm not sure if attending or not is Melanie Marland. Okay, thank you. Melanie, if you'd come to the microphone, state your address, that would be excellent.
Can I just bring up what I sent in?
Yes.
Is that okay?
Yes.
Sorry, I didn't realise I'd be speaking.
Yep. Can we get the air conditioning turned down a bit?
So my name is Melanie Marland and I live at 3 Daplin Way in Averley. I don't have the statement that I sent in, but I'll just speak from the heart. So my daughter started at pre-kindy at Casamia in 2022. My daughter herself is an incredibly highly sensitive and highly emotional child, and when considering education for her, I felt very lost and unsure of where to go. I discovered the method of Montessori, and it took one tour with the school with Principal Sam Layton, who was also new to the school at the time, to realise that this is exactly where my daughter needed to be, a place where she would feel valued, a child-led education, and the change in confidence and demeanour in my daughter since starting at the school has been life-altering. I do believe that if the school were to close down, I would watch that diminish and I would have basically no idea where I would send her instead. I would be heartbroken, and I know she would be too. I have my younger daughter enrolled in playgroup, and she starts next year, and I feel the same way. I feel like others have said, Casamia is not just a school, but it's a community, it's a home, one that I'm very, very fond of, and one that I really, really wish to be a part of for the next 6 years as my children remain with the school, and quite literally beg of you to extend the 4 years so that this school doesn't have to close down, because I know a lot of hearts will be broken if it does.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
So, ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to the end of statements. We'll go on to question time now. Now, I do have a question here that has been sent in by Darren de Klerk regarding the draft amended land asset strategy. I believe this has been provided in writing back to the gentleman. Is that right?
No.
No? Okay. Mr. Clerk, if you'd like to come to and you may ask the question, and I will get the administration to provide the response to you, sir.
Thank you. My question is, under the current local planning strategy, which I particularly refer to the town centre master plan, there are 3 key points which would be relevant to a school, particularly that of independent schooling, such as Casamia. These are advocate for economic growth of Bassendean Town Centre, prioritise local employment, and most importantly, ensure access and inclusion to spaces and places through our town for all, including community members with disabilities, youths, seniors, Indigenous people, and culturally and linguistically diverse people. How does the council justify the potential end of lease against these principles? Thank you.
Mr. CEO.
Thanks for your question, Jaron. In relation to economic growth, the town considers that the additional dwellings from medium to high density on that site post the end of the lease period will in fact result in more economic activity than the school does currently, and that's based on modelling around how many people will live and stay in that community, and that means they'll be shopping, using our services, hospitality, retail, every day of the week, rather than parents coming in and driving out. So I think from if you look at a purely economic argument, high density housing will bring more economic growth than a school would. In relation to local employment, we think that the flow-on effects from higher density housing and more people living permanently in our town will have a multiplier effect on local employment in and around the entire town. In relation to access and inclusion, at the moment, Casamia have a part of the BIC reserve which is fully fenced, which doesn't allow the public to use that public open space. It's always been council's intention from day one that that public open space would be returned back to the BIC so everybody could use it rather than having it as a exclusive playground for the school community. That is council's intention once the school vacates, is that land that is currently playground will be put back into the BIC as the grass space out here on my left. I think that answers question one.
Might I add something to that, Mr. CEO? The BIC is undergoing a number of stages of transformation, extra plantings, enhancement. So that is also a long-term plan that the council have for the entire enhancement of the BIC reserve. But a council decision some years ago was that the BIC has over many, many decades been reduced dramatically from what it was in the 1930s, 40s and 50s, and to retain all the green space on the BIC is a priority. Okay, thank you. You had a second question, sir.
Yes, do I have permission to change my question in light of the response? Is that okay?
You may ask your second question, sir.
Okay, I'll just proceed. So just to confirm with that response, the nature reserve part of BIC Reserve will definitely remain a nature reserve, and then the remainder of the site will be high-rise housing. That's correct?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, sir. Just.
Okay. I will open it up to questions from the members of the audience. If anyone would like to ask a question, please raise your hand, come to the microphone and state your name and address. A maximum of 2 questions. Thank you. Ooh. Okay. So I will allow... Okay, would you like to come to the microphone, state your name and address?
Yes. Hi, my name is Emily Sully and I'm 18 Carlack Circuit in Forestfield. My question is, when I filled the form for my statement, apparently I didn't tick the box that I could speak. May I do my statement now, though? It is definitely under 2 minutes.
I will allow it, but please, if we can keep it short, and if there's any new material, that would be excellent. Okay, thank you. I will allow it.
Can't promise about new, but I can promise about under 2 minutes. Thank you very much for allowing me. My children have been at Casamia since their very first years, and for us it's been more than just a school. It's become a second home. We chose Casamia because it's offered something rare, an environment where children are known as individuals and not just students in a classroom. It's not just about academics, it's about raising confident, curious and kind children. And isn't that what we all want for our children? A place where, as Benjamin Franklin said, they're not just told and they forget, but they're involved so they truly learn and remember. Casamia is so special because of its size, its warmth, and its community. In a world driven by money and power, this is a place where children feel safe, parents feel welcome, and teachers can give the kind of attention that changes lives. And once you've experienced it, you realize it's irreplaceable. And Casimir isn't only valuable to our families, it's part of the fabric of the town. Families move here because of the school. Local shops, community groups, and the town itself benefit from the presence of a school like this. When you think about it from a child perspective, how would it feel knowing that the place where you've grown, learned, and felt safe is living? And from a parent's perspective, how do you explain to your child that their school might have to close simply because the new site isn't ready yet? Casimir has done everything the town has asked for, and we are already in the process of relocating, and as you can imagine, it is a huge undertaking that is costing significant time, money, energy, and personal sacrifice.
So we'll thank you for that because we're at the 2-minute mark. Okay? Statements are 2 minutes.
No worries.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, we'll return to question time. Questions. If you have a question, would you like to come to the microphone, state your name and address? Again, question time is limited to 2 minutes, 2 people, 2 questions per person, 2 minutes, and total question time is 15 minutes unless extended by councillors.
Hello, councillors. Thank you. My name is Claire Canham. I live at Unit 3, 29 7th Avenue in Bassendean. And my question is around the modelling and the financial aspect of a 4-year extension and how that will impact on the proposed building and the return of the parcel of land to BIC Reserve, that if having just a 4-year extension, what is the financial and timeline modelling around that? Obviously, the project will still go ahead, that there's been development on the BIC Reserve already, that we have seen new equipment go in. There's obviously a plan for that and that parcel of land. How is the 4-year lease actually going to be an impact on that timeline and on, like you spoke before, CEO, about the financial impact? Obviously, building high-rise takes quite some time. So my question's basically around that. It's a 4-year extension, and has there been impact and modelling done around that?
I'll let you go. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for the question. I think its context is key here, and I think what isn't clear by everybody is this council has provided extension after extension after extension. So, I mean, if we only go back to the current lease, 2017, it was a 5-year lease with a 5-year option with no extension. Prior to that, there was numerous other extensions with no further extension. So the town has done more than enough to honour an extension after an extension. I would think that 10 years from 2017 to 2027 is enough time to relocate and find somewhere new. Now, I'm not sure all the parents are aware of that, but when the school board speaks, they refer back as far as 2022, 2023. Quite clearly, the facts are there was a 5+5 with no further extension provided in 2017, and at that time, and before that time, there was numerous extensions. And each time there was an extension, it was like, that is it. But council has been in this position before and has been honoured a 10-year extension. Now that's like giving somebody a 10-year notice period. That's very generous. So to say that we don't have enough time is okay, I get it. But in the context of the history of this site, you need to understand the history of the site. So there's 6 years left. If there was 4 years left, so we've got 2 years plus a 4-year extension because we're only at 2025. There is a market property boom at the moment. There is interest in town. We have infill targets to meet with the state government. This community has been very clear on where they want their high-rise. Their high-rise must be in this spine and near the train stations to protect the leafy suburbs that we all love. So we need to meet our infill targets, not only because it's a state government requirement, but because financially the town needs it because we need more ratepayers living in our town. We're a small local government, 17,000 people. surrounded by large local governments with much bigger rate bases. So the only way that we can grow is through rates income and grants income. So I understand the plight you're in, but I think, to be fair, the council has been very generous, and there is 6 years left. There's not 4 years left. And the school has had a notice period at 2017.
Can I just clarify something there, Mr. CEO? The current lease expires in December 2027. There would be 6 years if 4 years was added. However, council have not yet decided on an extension of any nature at this moment. May I just add that the Montessori board and administration in 2017, actually before 2017, articulated that the site was too small for their aspirations to expand their number of children. That has been something that's been articulated for many, many years, including before I was elected to council. I recall that the school were attempting to expand into a bigger site in Success Hill. So the idea that the school is limited in its current site has been recognised for many, many years. It's been recognised not only by council, but also by the school themselves. So the site itself is not suited to an expanding school. It's too small. At the moment, you're at 73 students, and I believe you're approaching the maximum number of students that you could have on a site according to the Education Department regulations. So this is part of the issue that's been recognised in the years gone by, that both council and the school themselves have recognised that the school wanting to expand on its current footprint is problematic. So that is also part of the history and the story of the various extensions that have been offered. And I will say that the school's number of children has fluctuated from lows of, I think, around about 42 students up to the current high of around about 73 students. But I'm not entirely sure that you could expand your number of students much more than what you've got at the moment without encountering some issues. So the actual size of the site is not appropriate for an expansion. So that is what has been advocated to the council in the past, and it is a position that we have noted in the Town Centre Master Plan, which was, the consultation on that was several years ago as well, and there was extensive consultation on the Town Centre Master Plan that identified that site for high density residential. Okay, now are there any other further questions? Yes, if you would like to.
Kayla Bonomi. My address is 27 8th Avenue, Maylands, Chair of the Board of Casimir Montessori. What I'm interested to understand is there are 35 students within our school that would come under local catchment intake, and you are currently at capacity in your state school system in the town of Bassendean. So I'm keen to understand, has the town spoken to government about how it might absorb the students?
No, we haven't, but we think that's a state government issue. They are responsible for providing education, and they do have surplus land in this town. At Cyril Jackson Senior High School, for instance, there's quite a lot of space there. So, but I would imagine that's a conversation between Casimir and the State Education Department, not the council.
Yes, ma'am, if you'd like to come to the microphone, your name and address would be excellent.
Hi, Emily Lowe, Unit 6, 1 Anzac Terrace, Bassendean. My question is regarding the statement about infilling on that spot. So if we were to take this plan as going right ahead and we had the playground area returned to the BIC and the school buildings bulldozed and sold to a developer, what is to stop what has happened on so many other sites in the area where that vacant land sits there looking ugly and serving no function for the next 4 years while we wait for something to be done? And in the meantime, our school community has lost its home, and our children have lost their opportunity for an excellent education in their local area.
Okay, I will. Okay, this council dislikes land banking, has stated that in a very public way, moved motions at the Walga conference to ask the state government to change legislation to actually reduce incidences of land banking. We have a number of advocacies that we have pursued about land banking. So land banking is not our favourite idea of what should happen with that site. It may, and it will be a future council decision, bearing in mind that this council on their own will not make a decision specific to whether that site would be sold to a developer, whether the council themselves might develop the site, whether there might be a partnership. That decision is not yet made. What is made is that the Town Centre Master Plan has identified that site as a prime site for residential or mixed-use development, but that cannot happen or proceed in any meaningful way whilst the school remains there in their lease situation. So I think that, Mr. CEO, do you have anything to add to that?
Well, only that council will be placing at a point of decision when we dispose of that site, a condition of the disposal will be that whoever takes it on to develop the site will have to lodge a development application with the town within 48 months, which means within 2 years they need to start construction on that site. We do have that power as under our legislation as a disposal. So, like you, we are also concerned about land banking, so we'd put conditions on sale so we don't necessarily have to get the highest bidder. We get somebody that actually wants to build something of quality in our town in a timely manner.
Do I have another question? Yes. So you speak of believing that residents in a potential high-rise situation will support local businesses far more than our school community do. Can my school community fellows raise their hands if they buy coffee, they stop for groceries, they somehow support the local businesses in Bassendean on weekdays when they drop their children off, whether or not they live here? Thank you.
Thank you. Question? Yes, ma'am. I will make this the last question, unless there's an extension to question time by councillors.
Just through my own curiosity, following on from the theme that was just discussed then, are there any details on the size of the development you'd be looking at? How many units / family, like?
Look, that's not relevant at the time because we said we might make a decision to extend the lease yet. We haven't got to that.
Yep. Okay.
I don't think it's any of the school's concern about that. Those questions aren't relevant.
No, thank you. To context my second question is just to explain my demographic in the area. I don't live personally in Bassendean. I come across from Naranda. I did grow up in Bassendean, but prior to enrolling my daughter into Casimir School, I didn't come into the area of Bassendean very much. And I just wanted to put some context around, all the question is really around the demographic, trying to understand the comparison that you explained earlier in the fact that the new development could potentially build more business opportunities for the council, and just understanding that myself investing the funds to have my daughter go to Casimir does of course potentially put me in a higher demographic than what could be going into, say, small apartments in the area. And just the explanation that I do come here on the weekends now because I understand that Holly Ray's Cafe is there. I've gotten to know the beauty salon here. There's a lot of reasons I'm coming to the area of Bassendean. So I guess my question is, was trying to understand the demographic that would bring and the value against that.
Could I suggest that maybe the school board should have done their own economic modelling and used that as justification for tonight rather than returning it to us to justify economic modelling to you?
Yeah, sorry. It's more a curiosity question, but understood. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. So we have come to the end of question time. Sorry, your name and address, ma'am. You didn't give it at the beginning.
Apologies, my name is Michelle Leader and I live at 12 Peerless Place, Naranda.
Okay. Sorry, it's for the minute clerk to actually record this information. So that brings us to the end of question time. Mr. CEO, do you have anything to add before we move on to the next item?
No, Madam Mayor.
Okay. So We have no petitions tonight. Councillors, this brings us to item 9.1, confirmation of the minutes, that the minutes of the ordinary council meeting held on the 22nd of July 2025 be received and confirmed as a true and correct record. Do I have a mover for that? Councillor Carter. Seconded. Councillor John. Do I have anyone against? I'll declare that carried. There is no business deferred from the previous meeting. There are nil external committee reports and updates. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for your attendance. Have a lovely night. Okay, councillors, this now brings us to the officer reports. And councillors, I would ask if there are any items that are coming out of en bloc. At the moment, in en bloc, I have 12.2, 12.3, 12.4, 12.5, 12.9, 12.10 and 12.11. Does anyone like to remove any of those items? Okay. Councillor Ames, you're fine with everything remaining en bloc?
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor, and I've been hearing everyone and all of our gallery loud and clear, so you can carry on as presented. Thank you.
Thank you. So, councillors, can I have a mover for the items in en bloc? Councillor John, do I have a seconder? Councillor Burke, do I have anyone against? I'll declare that carried. This brings us to the first item, 12.6, which is the policy reviews. Just for the benefit of the audience, 12.2, the local heritage survey update, was in en bloc and has now been passed as is. Okay? So I just wasn't sure if you were aware.
I heard the en bloc, but I wasn't sure how far.
Yeah. Okay. So I thought I'd let you know. So,
Thank you very much. 12.6 sounded a bit
yep.
far.
Okay. Thank you, ladies. Have a lovely night. Okay. So 12.6, councillors, policy review, and I would ask the officer who would like to provide, Mr. CEO.
Madam Mayor, we didn't give this a great deal of airtime at the briefing session, but I consider these matters to be quite mild. We are rescinding one and making minor alterations to 3. I think the advocacy policy is a great improvement on the existing policy, and we're really talking about adding to our policy some advocacy projects rather than just capital works projects. The caretaker period one is probably worth talking about, and Councillor Wilding provided an excellent question today. In that, if we adopt that policy tonight, does that mean we cancel our September meetings this year? And the answer to that is no. What the administration plans to do is, if we adopt a policy tonight for the caretaker period, if the quantum of the reports that come through by the agenda close off is such that it warrants a meeting, then I'll speak with yourself, Madam Mayor, and discuss whether that meeting is as per our normal cycle or whether we will combine the briefing session and the council meeting together on the OCM night, given that the items are expected to be of little significance because of the Caretaker Act. If there are hardly any items at all, I might make a recommendation to council to cancel the meetings. But at this stage, our agenda meeting dates for September are subject to the quantum and the content of the reports, noting that anything of a significant act cannot be decided in September anyway. So there might be some policy, we can't even adopt a policy. So at the moment, September meetings are locked in, but in future years, when we do a calendar, when the new council is sworn in, every 2 years we'll be marking September out of the calendar based on the caretaker period.
Okay. May I ask a question, Mr. CEO? Okay. Given the Minister has signalled that the potential for 4-year terms, with elections only happening once every 4 years from 2027 onwards, it's my assumption that this policy would need to change in the event of that coming into play.
That is correct, and to be honest, our policy's only recently changed because of the Local Government Act reform around the definition of what is a significant decision. It's now called a significant act, so we are simply responding to the Department of Local Government.
Okay. Councillors, further questions? Do I have a mover for the officer recommendation?
I think it's in two parts.
Oh, yes, it is too. Sorry, I should open my page, the right one. Okay, so we have the officer recommendation 1, that council adopt the reviewed advocacy policy, elected caretaker period policy, electronic recording and live streaming of meetings policy. Councillors, do I have a mover for that item? Councillor Burke, a seconder. Councillor Polifka, do I have anyone against? I'll declare that carried. The second part is that council revoke the employment-related benefits with the Town of Bassendean policy. Do I have a mover for that item? Councillor Carter, do I have a seconder? Councillor Burke, do I have anyone against? I'll declare that carried. We now move to 12.7, and bearing in mind, councillors, that this item has confidential attachments. If you have questions that relate to the confidential attachment, I can defer this item until we go behind closed doors. But if there are no questions relating to the confidential attachment, we can proceed. So, Mr. CEO, did you want any of the administration to talk to this item?
No, thanks, Madam Mayor, unless there's direct questions.
No. Okay. Councillors, are there any direct questions? Okay, I'll ask if there's a mover for this item. Councillor John, do I have a seconder? Councillor Burke, do I have anyone against? I'll declare that carried. We now move to 12.8. Again, councillors, there is a confidential attachment. The same protocol applies, that if there is anything to do with the questions relating to confidential attachment, we can defer this and go behind closed doors. If there are no questions, we will proceed. Mr. CEO, does any administration want to talk to this item?
No, Madam Mayor, but again, if there's a direct question, I'm aware that the two directors are able to cover it.
Okay. Councillors, are there any questions on this item? Can I have a mover for this item? Councillor Carter, seconder. Councillor Burke, anyone against? I'll declare that carried. So, councillors, we now move to 12.12, the monthly financial report. And Mr. White, I would ask you to speak to this item, given that was not at the briefing.
Certainly, and thank you, Madam Mayor. Good evening, councillors. So this is the monthly financial report for July, and it's a two-part report. It includes the standard monthly financial report as occurs each month, but also being July, it includes the proposed finalisation of the capital project carry-forward budgets. So obviously the end of the financial year's passed. We know what projects were able to have been completed by 30 June and what have been carried forward, and so we just make adjustments to the carry forwards to come up with a finalised position. It's a bit higher than what we anticipated, primarily to the three projects, well, exclusively almost to the three projects listed on page 70, but all of those are really very close to completion. So that is really just a timing difference. So we would ask that council adopts. It's a two-part resolution. So the first would be an absolute majority resolution to adopt the carry forward capital project budgets that are shown in the confidential attachment. And the second part of the resolution would be to receive the monthly financial report on simple majority. Thank you.
Thank you. And I'll just go to my page. Councillors, are there any questions? Sorry, councillors, are there any questions on this item? Okay, so the first recommendation, that council adopts the carry forward capital project budgets as detailed in the confidential attachment to this report. Do I have a mover for that item? Councillor Burke, do I have a seconder? Councillor Polifka, do I have anyone against? I'll declare that carried. We now move to the second part, which is that Council receives the monthly financial report for July 2025, which comprises a statement of financial activity for the year to June 2025, statement of financial position as of 30th of July 2025, statement net current funding position, notes to the financial report. 2, notes the explanation of material variances in the statement of financial activity for July 2025. Do I have a mover for that item? Councillor Burke. Do I have a seconder? Councillor John. Do I have anyone against? I'll declare that carried. So, councillors, this now brings me to item 13.1, notice of motion, remediation action plan of the Tonkin Park containment cell. So councillors will note that I provided a significant amount of background material, and councillors will also note that the administration have provided an alternative motion. So first of all, Mr. CEO, would you like to provide any commentary on this one?
Oh, thanks, Madam Mayor. Only to say that the administration fully supports the intent of the motion as written, but just noting the way that we do business in our advocacy policy, which has just been updated and adopted tonight, and the fact that we are having a workshop next month, I thought it prudent that we take this particular item and workshop it with council, and also explore what other notices of motion, what other advocacy projects could come to fruition by councillors, and then we could do a ranking. So I'm not saying that I don't agree with the notice of motion, I'm just saying that from a matter of process, that's the way the administration would prefer to handle it.
Okay. Councillors, are there questions on this item? Okay. I'm actually happy to move the administration's alternative motion, and I'll just read that out, that Council 1 notes that the Tonkin Park containment cell remains despite the 2017 advice that the contaminated soil could be reused, and a business case and several opportunities were being explored by the owner of the site, Ridgepoint Proprietary Limited, for the reuse of contaminated soil, which would enable the site to be returned to productive use. 2, considers the lack of progress in returning this site to a productive land use a priority advocacy project for the town of Bassendean. And 3, authorises the CEO to prepare a draft advocacy position statement for inclusion in the 25-26 advocacy priority workshop in September 2025. So I would like to move that. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Plivka. Do I have anyone against? I'll declare that carried. So, councillors, this brings us to confidential business. Could I have a mover to go behind closed doors? Councillor Plivka, seconded Councillor Carter. Do I have anyone against? I'll declare that carried. And I'll just confirm, Ms. Councillor So welcome back to the conclusion of the council meeting. Confidential item 16.1. For the benefit of the public, council voted in favour of the amended officer recommendation. I will declare this meeting closed at 7:45 p.m. The next ordinary council meeting will be held on Tuesday, the 23rd of September 2025, commencing at 6 p.m. Thank you, everyone, for your attendance and your diligence. And if we'll just